Okay. All right. So when I was starting, as I said, I started this business from home. And I said to myself that when I got to $50,000 a year sales, I would open a bookstore. So it actually took me roughly 5 years to get up to that 50,000. And so I opened the bookstore. But I wanted to figure out what to call it. So in thinking about a name, I thought about all that I had gone through and how I had lost money from my business venture and all of that. And then I had said to myself, you have to dare to do it. You need to dare to do it. And so I decided to name the bookstore DARE, D-A-R-E. Well, after I had opened, someone said to me, "Oh, you use your initial, right?" And I said, "No, that was not the intention." But then when I decided to incorporate, I said, it's Desmond A. Reid. Then I put the enterprises, and that became, So DARE came before the Desmond A. Reid Enterprises, but one just led into the other. So I didn't deliberately name it that way. What I've learned over the years is that if you decide to go into business, you have to make plans, detailed plans. I recommend making a business plan. But also be aware that you do not have, you also have to prepare yourself for whatever business it is that you want to go into. You get to know about the business, look at the pros and cons, look at how much you're going to invest in time and resources. And then, have the patience to grow it. Because remember that more than 50% of all businesses fail within the first year. Within 5 years, it's about 75%. And ultimately, less than 10% of all businesses succeed past 5 years. Okay? So just because one has a good idea doesn't mean that you're going to succeed. Even in terms of myself, I had got into printing business at first, and then I built this business in New York and was pretty successful, if I may say so myself. But then, at any given point, anything can happen. And so I had to come here to restart. And after, 15 years down here, I'm still restarting. But you have to also have the commitment. So I went into this business to help to educate black children more so, and black people in general. And so even though things are not where I expected it to be, hope it would be, I'm still grateful to be in the position where I'm still able to do what I wanted to do in the first place, and I can continue with my calling. It's gotten to the point now where, although I need to make enough money to keep it, to keep the lights on, it's not about the money for me anymore. It's about keeping the lights on so I can get the information out to my people, especially the children, because we all need to make sure that the children are educated in many ways. It's not just reading and math, but they need to also develop the consciousness and the pride of our people. And they can't be bothered by people who tell them they're inferior, because, and this is the most important thing about learning. As you learn, you get to know all of the lies that have been told to you. You get to know that your forefathers were the people who created almost everything, okay? And all these things that people have stolen and rebranded as their own, including Jesus, okay? It ain't so. It ain't so. But you don't know if you don't know, okay? There's a saying that white folks says, if you want to keep something from black folks, put it in the book. In the beginning, there was a reason for that, because we were not allowed to read and write. So that was the perfect hiding place. But now that we can read and write, we need to read and write so that we can know that they were lying to us all these years. And we are the originators of almost everything. They have stolen our copyrights and our patents all these hundreds of years anyway. And so they claim it to be their own. But if you do the deep digging research, you'll find out that almost everything they tell you is a lie, including Jesus, where they got a white guy to pose as Jesus, and they sell him as Jesus. But if you look at the Bible itself from Genesis, where it talks about where God created man in the garden east of Eden, and Eden is in fact Africa, to the revelation that tells you that Jesus, when he returned, is shown to have burnt skin and woolly hair. Okay? And in between, if you look at the pyramids that you find in Africa, you find them in South America, you look at all these inventions that are black people, from the light bulb that they said Thomas Edison did. He didn't. Louis Latimer did it. He built the filament. Without the filament, there would be no light. Okay? And to roads and bridges and aqueducts and viaducts and mathematical calculations that got people in space, the black women who did it, and so on and so forth. Okay? So we are not told about all these things because our legacy is stolen. So we have to enlighten ourselves and enlighten our children, and that's why I'm still trying to do this work.